Hi, welcome to another video presented by ConceptX Labs. So in this video, we are going to talk about data lifecycle. So I just want to start off with a question asking, have you ever wondered what happens to the data you enter when you register for a new app or website? So today, we will explore the data lifecycle, the journey of data from its birth to its retirement. Let's get started. Let's explore the data lifecycle, the journey that data takes from the moment it's created until it's no longer useful. So the cycle starts with data creation. This is where everything begins. Data is born. It could be a student entering marks into a system, a sensor recording temperature, or even you typing a message on WhatsApp. And once data is created, it moves on to data storage and management. So once data is created, the data has to live somewhere, right? It could be in a database, it could be on a cloud storage, or even in your phone's memory. Just like keeping your notes organized in a file, data also needs to be managed properly so we can find it later. So it moves on to data processing afterwards. So here's where raw data turns into something meaningful. For example, marks from a class test are just numbers, but when we calculate the average, suddenly it becomes information we can use. Do you remember this? That we learned this in previous lessons? Yes. And it moves on to data sharing and usage. So once data are processed, data can be shared with others or used to make decisions. Think about your school exam results being sent to universities. That's data being used in real life. And at last, data archiving and removal. Finally, when data becomes old or no longer useful, it's either stored away for record keeping or safely removed. Just like we clear old messages from our phones to make space, organizations do the same with data. So remember, data has a life of its own. It's created, managed, processed, used, and eventually retired. Understanding this cycle helps us see why data is such a powerful resource in today's world. So let's take another example of data lifecycle by voting system. So just imagine an election. You select a candidate A in the voting machine, or you write a candidate A on a ballot paper, which is when the data gets created. So once you selected the candidate, those votes will be securely stored in ballot boxes, so which is data storage and management. And there comes the data usage and processing. So votes are counted and aggregated to determine totals. So election commission tallies all votes by the candidates. So once those data gets processed, that becomes information. So the results are being shared with the public and the media. So for example, TV channels announces candidate A has 60% of the votes. And once the candidate has been selected, so those election records are stored for some audit or legal purposes, which will become data archiving process. So finally, after the legally required retention period is completed, the old voting data may be destroyed or removed. So this is when the data deletion and removal process comes in. So that is how, from the moment a vote is cast until the records are eventually removed, the entire data life cycle can be clearly seen in action. So that's how the data life cycle works in a voting system. So we've come to an end of this video. So to summarize everything that we have learned in this video, we learned about data lifecycle stages, and we also took an example of a voting system to better understand data lifecycle. So that's pretty much about it. So thank you for watching this video. We'll see you in another video.